Well, hello, my CNC brothers and sisters. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and welcome to another mentoring session. CNC business, that's what we're talking about. And we are uh, working with our CNC sister, Kate, who has been in CNC for a little over a year and has some business experience, but has that drive. And so we're doing this stuff live, this mentoring to get Kate to where she's going, but she'll talk to you in just a second. Matter of fact, I'm just going to bring her on, and because she always hangs out there in the wings when I do this introduction. But we are on episode 10 of this live mentoring,
Yeah.
and in the last 9 weeks, actually 10 because we had the 1 week off.
hmm
Um, but Kate has gone through a lot of stuff, and she's been very vulnerable on this journey. And the whole intent is to help you uh, as a
Grow.
CNC creator who wants to start into a business and grow. Grow is is the most awesome word, because really at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. We
Yeah.
are people. We always need to have challenges in our lives if we're going to feel alive in the heart. So that's what we're doing today. So first of all, we are going to be doing the title of this one is Mastering the Art of Success in CNC Business. And what we are going to be doing in this whole thing, what I want you to do as the viewer here, we're going to be rehashing all the stuff that Kate has learned. And the reason I want you to understand this is because everything that we're going to be covering tonight is all the stuff that we have to take in ourselves to have a successful business. So that's what this is about. And I got a couple of announcements, but first we're going to say hello to some people, Kate. But first, Kate, why don't you say hi? Give them all a wave.
Hey guys. Hey ladies. How's everybody doing tonight?
So
Welcome
who do
back.
we got on? Yeah, who do we got on board? So we have uh Totally Tail right at the top. First comment. So
Tail
I'm
gunner.
kind of yeah, tail gunner, like in the
Yeah,
back of
there
an
you go.
airplane. Yeah. Just so you know, I'm kind of battling this. As you know, I've had my cataract. One eye has been fixed, the other one's not. So one eye I can see without my glasses. Yes, I can't wait for the other eye to get done, but it's causing a little bit of conflict for me. So that's kind of the way it
Yeah.
goes. And okay, so Charlie and Jack, of course, Jack is here. I mean, what else would we expect?
I know. We
And
love Jack.
yeah, Cosman and let's see, so Charlie, Jack, there you are, man. And Dion, another regular. Hey,
Yeah.
look, it's IDC Woodcraft.
I wonder who that fella is.
Right.
Oh goodness.
And currently we are sitting on, oh, there's Lawrence and Paul, Gary, V Twins back, Mike.
Nice.
Yeah, we got, I didn't see, I saw the comment before, someone from down under Australia. So,
Yeah, I
good
saw
morning.
that.
Good morning, Australia. Isn't that so cool?
Good day.
Yeah.
I see we've got
All
someone
right.
from the
Oh,
UK. We've got Calgary. Oh my goodness. Chris is
wow.
back. Our Facebook user is back.
Yeah, first time. Then good evening, Garrett from Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Scott. All right.
Got
And
Dwayne on back here. Jeff. Yeah. All kinds of good
what what a
folks.
what a what a great crew. What a great crew. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is mastering the art of business, CNC business. And if you have not been on this live, we this is Kate. And um, Kate, why don't you introduce yourself and tell our those who are not familiar with what we're doing, why we are doing this, why you're here.
So let's see. What you think maybe about like 6 months ago, we started this kind of small mentoring session. And it's kind of evolved a little bit, which has been really great for me because I was, as many of you know, from the very beginning of the journey, I was all over the place. And now we have really narrowed down so many things. We are finally on the right track of where we're going to go. And I can just not tell you how vulnerable I've had to be with not only myself, but also with all of you. And I just appreciate you guys taking this journey with me. I hope y'all are learning something, not only about your business, but also about yourself and how to integrate those two together. So I just cannot thank Garrett enough for taking the time to do this with me. I've had my CNC about a year and a half and grown to be pretty good with the CNC, pretty good with Vectric, and seeing where that path takes me has been a little bit of an adventure, but now I am super excited about where the future is going to go because I have a very designated path that I want to be on. So
All right,
there it
very cool.
is.
Yeah, yeah. And Kate has had a business for quite some time, and then she decided to pivot and get into CNC. So that's been a bit of a
Yeah.
journey for her, and trying to wrap the CNC into her business. And Kate has what we call an entrepreneurial drive. This is someone you just can't knock down. You know, so that voice is spoken inside of you. You heard it, and so now
Yeah.
this is when we acknowledge that inside of ourselves, that we want our own thing and we're going to grab it and run with it. We don't know what we don't know, but we
Amen.
get smart enough to reach out to those that do, to guide us,
Yes.
and we get humble enough to be guided. And that's what Kate has done. And by you being here, we got Carol and Richard. Okay, and by you CNC brothers being here, you are also um, learning. So one
Yeah.
of the things that Kate just shared about being vulnerable, right, is this is the fundamental key when it comes to business and how successful you become. Is there is a we've heard it in many different ways, but I think it was Mark Twain said to know thyself, right? Maybe that was Socrates, I don't know. And
I think it was
what that
Socrates.
means, what's that?
I said, I think it was Socrates.
Okay, but what that
Yeah.
means is we we often react to the world around us. We just kind of go on autopilot, right? And
Yeah.
then we get- things happen, people push our buttons, we get all mad and stuff like that. And our job is to learn why we're getting mad and to start to undo those things. You know, what makes us feel not so good about ourselves, and what
Yeah.
keeps us stuck in a position that we don't want to be in, and why do we keep doing the same things over and over and wishing we wouldn't.
Yeah.
There's all reasons behind it, and it's all in our own psychology. I have said this in virtually every one of these sessions. Business is all in the mind. It's who you are or who you are not. And so you have
Yes.
to become that business person, and you have to take on a business mindset. So I'm going to give you a couple of updates, and then we are going to rock and roll into this.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, first of all, I want to let you know that this is the last mentoring session that's going to be live. And the reason is because the direction that Kate is going to be going in doesn't necessarily align to building your CNC business the way that you want to build it, making projects and selling your projects.
Mhm.
And and Kate's vision is a little bit uh, bigger, and it's moving in, it's in a CNC space, but it's in a different angle. And so what we are
Yeah.
going to do after tonight is we will continue the lives. So don't get scared. Don't get scared your Saturday night's going to be empty and stuff. Or Wednesday night.
Yeah. Wednesday nights.
What we're going to do is turn this live into a kind of a Q&A. We're going to help you as a creator um, get yourself up to speed, answer questions and what have you.
I
Because
think that's going to
like
be a lot
Kate,
of fun.
yeah. Like me, Kate is now starting to get a lot of emails as a result of this, of people asking, "Hey, I'm stuck on this thing. What can I do?"
Yeah.
And from your perspective, you're just sending an email to somebody that can help you. From our
Yeah.
perspective, we are literally bombarded all day long, and it's not always manageable.
Yeah.
And Kate's got a life. She's got a family. She got kids. And we have to
Yep.
get her in the right direction of business. So what
Yeah.
we want to do is when we get these little one-off questions, we are going to deal with those on Wednesday nights.
That'll be
And
so
so
fun.
It will. It will. I
Yeah.
can't wait to start helping you, and we'll answer it across the board, whether it's business, whether it's how to do some design work, or how to
Yeah.
get your CNC to get started. All that kind of good stuff.
All the good stuff.
Okay.
You'll find it all
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. And so, Kate, remind me at about 45 minutes
Okay.
into this, just to kind of rehash these CTAs. So,
Got it.
first of all, for the ladies out there, Kate, why don't you invite them?
So, ladies, if there are any on here tonight and maybe just not popping on in the comments, welcome. And I would love to have you join my group of CNC ladies. On Facebook, there's a group called Women Who CNC, and it is exclusively for women. I'm so sorry, gentlemen. That's just part of the gig. It's just a space for the ladies to ask those crazy questions that we may have and speak a different language because women learn differently than men. So on Facebook, Women Who CNC, go check it out. And I promise you won't regret it. It's a great group. Got a great bunch of ladies there.
Yep, and Katie will be almost at your beck and call, but she's in there and creating a
Yeah.
space for women. We've talked offline, and women many times communicate different from us guys. We're mechanical guys. Give me a hammer, and we'll start beating nails. But uh,
Yeah.
we don't read instructions and what have you.
Yeah.
So instead, hi Garrett, that's a Facebook user, and Spunky. Okay.
Amen.
Also, so at IDC Woodcraft, I'm getting ready to release two new router bits. I just want to let you know.
Yeah.
One is a 3/16 compression bit, and I've been there. I don't think I haven't seen any other 3/16 compression bit out there,
Mm-mm.
and it's designed to give you split the difference between a quarter and an eighth. So sometimes you can just go to the 3/16. Now,
Yeah.
also, I'm going to be introducing the beast. Right, this is one badass bit. If you've had the hog, this puts the hog to shame when it comes to removing material. So
Dang.
yeah, so that will be out in about 3 to 4 weeks. But there's a caveat. CNC
All right.
insiders are the ones that are going to have first dibs on this, right? So CNC insiders is my email list for IDC Woodcraft. And I pointed over the wrong shoulder. No, I got the right shoulder. For IDC
It took some
Woodcraft.
time.
And so you want to get on that list because I'm going to release the 3/16 compression in about 2 to 3 days. And CNC insiders get first crack at it. So,
Nice. I
okay.
really
So,
like the 3/16 that you have. Obviously not the compression, but the 3/16 silver bullet that you have. I use that so often. It's not even funny. It's such a great bit. It's just that really nice in between, kind of eliminates a lot of extra tool paths and time additionally. So I really like it.
right. Yeah. So, okay. And the way you can find CNC insiders, just do a search on Google. You will find it. It'll say like LP1, then it'll say CNC insiders. And
There you go.
so click that, you'll go to the sign up page. So, insiders get first dibs.
Nice.
Also, uh, this is where I have to put on my glasses just to read my writing. Um, yeah. So Kate is also doing some one-on-one for
Hmm.
for those who are working with the Vectric software. So if you're looking for one-on-one, she's available. You can look for Rise and Shines, right? Rise and
Yep.
Shine wood signs,
Yep.
and
RiseandShineWoodSigns.com.
yep. Yep, and she will spend a half hour, an hour with you and get you going. I can tell you this: there is nothing better than getting that one-on-one instruction. You not
Yep.
only get your questions answered, but you learn 10 times more in that hour.
Yes.
Every time I've done a one-on-one, people walk away going, I learned so much more than what I expected. All right,
Yeah.
so with that, let's dive into the CNC business. Thank you for tolerating this long intro, but just want to let you know the Wednesday nights
Sure.
will not be quitting, but the mentoring will be sidelined. We will do that independently.
Yep.
Okay, so These last 9 weeks, we have
Here we go.
yeah, here you go, dove into a lot of stuff, right? And I'm gonna just kind of rattle off this list. There's no particular thing, but
Right.
these things that we're going to be talking about is what business is about. And this is about you as a creator and what you have to like think about in being a business person. And it takes time to get this stuff into your mind because we have to learn to think in a different way. So
Right.
in 9 weeks, we have dug into Kate pretty deep. She's been pretty vulnerable. I think you've almost come near to crying a couple times, but that's what it takes. So
Yeah.
we've talked about your own sense of self-worth, your not only your self-worth, but the worth, the pricing of your stuff. We price based on our own sense of worth, right? We
Hmm.
price our projects. And so we have to work on that. We've talked about getting into a niche, identifying a niche and getting into that niche. And then
Yep.
what types of, determining the types of projects that that niche wants. Um, we talked and we dove deep into the avatar.
Hmm.
I got to get that avatar. Okay, what the avatar is your ideal customer. And that's something we do because we have to dig into the psychology of your customer. And we
Yeah.
have to narrow that down to one individual. Doesn't rule us out, doesn't rule our market out. We just need to understand psychology. So we need to understand their psychology. We need to understand our own psychology. And that's where the vulnerability comes in. We got to
Yes.
understand what
Oof.
we're afraid of, what our challenges are in life, and be willing to
Yeah.
get a little uncomfortable to step through them. Mindset, business mindset. We've talked about identity, business identity.
Right.
Positioning yourself. We've talked about platforms. What platforms you are good for different things. Etsy, Facebook, websites. You should always have a website.
Yep.
Um, we've talked about a bit about if you like on Etsy, your pictures that you place, that you have to pay a lot of attention. You need to stage pictures. You need
Yes.
to look at the competitor because in the Etsy in the world of Etsy, you are amongst all your competitors, so you've got to stand out.
Yep.
We talked a little bit about SEO and what SEO, search engine optimization. What are people looking for when they're typing in, and what are they typing in? Your SEO, the words you use has to tie into what they're looking for. So we have to understand that's part of the psychology and understanding our customer.
Yeah.
So we know how they think, how they talk, and how they type and how they search.
Yep.
Um, goals, personal goals, writing goals, and getting really loose with them. Just where you want to be
Go
in your
for it.
business. Yep, where you want what you want personally, without limits. We've talked about why people buy, and we talked about money mindset. Right, a big topic that many people are not comfortable with. And so we spent an entire session on this money mindset thing because it's super vitally important.
Yes,
So,
we did.
um, yep. And the reason we dove into that is because if you want to get in business, you're getting in business to make money, right? You want to
Amen.
turn a profit.
Yeah.
All that bottom line, you want to make money and you want to make a profit. So that's the whole thing.
True story.
So, yep. Okay, so let's kind of, Kate, I want you to kind of what we want to do is like work with who's watching here. First of all, kind of start telling some of the stuff that you learned. What do you think was some of the foundational stuff that you learned that you would want to share with those who are watching right now?
Oh gosh. So I was kind of making a note a little bit. So correct me if I miss a few things. So the most vulnerable session that we had was probably the most impactful for me and the most foundational. That session threw me through a loop. I think I was like in this weird, like out of body experience because I was so incredibly thrown at all the things that you were like, we need to dive into this, we need to think about this, we need to understand and pry apart and then take brick by brick and try to build it back up. um, was really foundational, and I think that session along with learning who my avatar was. And I thought it was really great because you were like, and, and you kept really pushing me to redefine and redefine and redefine again who my ideal customer was. And without that, I think I would just be still all over the map. I really enjoy pleasing all of the customers, pleasing everyone that comes, wants me to do a project. I don't ever want to say no. And now I have that ability to say no, that doesn't align with my business goals and where I'm going. So that was extremely foundational because I am naturally a people pleaser. That's just, I don't know, some of that psychology I was kind of grown up with. Um, so it was really hard to get vulnerable, but the more that I did, the more that I grew. It was like you cut off the dead that was surrounding my head, and now I have all of these new branches and leaves that are growing in ways that I never thought that I would have possible. But without that foundational work, I'd still be stuck. I'd still be sitting where I was, you know, 6 months ago. And I look at that person and I'm like, gosh, what was I doing? Like, I really had no direction. I really had no idea where I was going. So I think that those sessions that were really deep were probably the best ones. I mean, I really enjoyed all of the other conversations that we had, but those are the most foundational ones.
Right. So how do you think vulnerability helps build a business?
Vulnerability allows you to open up and see where you're weak and see where you're strong and see where you need to make the corrections or modify and pivot instead of just saying, oh, well, that really sucked. That was really hard. You know, they didn't like my project and I'm just going to go sit over here in a corner and like just give up. Like that
Mhm.
vulnerability allows you to grow. It was like when we talked about, you know, the haters that want to be ugly and they want to say things like, you know, women, a group for just women is stupid. I'm going to go start a group for just men. Okay. Well, by all means, there you go. Like I don't have to answer to you. And I before was getting really offended and really tore up, but now I'm just like, hit the road, Jack. I don't have time for that. Like, you know, I've even gotten some private messages about, you know, doing this mentoring and people saying, well, how long is this going to go on? And, you know, haven't you figured this out yet? And I'm like, what? Like,
You
I'm
know, I'm going to
sorry.
stop you there. I'm going to stop you there because if anybody on this or is that's watching this is wondering that question, or who watches this recording, uh, that kind of comment, I've actually seen that kind of comment, and
Mhm.
business is a mindset. It's not just a mindset; it's an identity. Okay,
Yeah.
we see the world in a certain way, and we have operated that way for so long that our filters don't see things, that won't allow us to see things. We will
Yeah.
look at other things from other filters. Little things will make us angry, and
Yeah.
in order to get a business mindset, number one, we have to change those behaviors inside of us, and uh, it's like trying to lift a 20-ton safe with a toothpick. Okay, that's
Yeah.
how embedded these thought processes are, and we don't even see them. Okay, so
Yeah.
we really it takes time. It takes time, and so for those people who say that, they're the ones that are closed minded. Okay, they're not
It's
going to go
very
any further,
simple.
right? Because they're making judgments on other people instead of looking in the mirror and saying, "Why am I even making that comment? Why am I thinking a negative thought
Yeah.
towards that person?" Okay,
Well, in
so
all fairness, I mean, have you ever met a successful business person that is not growing, that is not being mentored by someone else. I mean, even you have talked about your mentor on here many, many times, and you're
Mhm.
extremely successful. So I don't know. I just feel like it goes to show that those people are just really small minded, and I just don't have that in me to respond or even give that the time of day with any type of acknowledgement. I'm just like, whatever. And I just keep keep moving on because that's what we've
Mm.
talked about. And it is so critical to have that really reinforced mindset that those are just small minded people or they're just closed minded and they're just saying things to try and get under your skin. And it's like, nah, pass.
And this is part of the shift that you're taking, that that we don't have mental bandwidth to even deal with it, and we don't want to deal with it. And so
Yeah.
and because your mindset is shifting to a space that doesn't even acknowledge it, it bounces off of you, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
but yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
you know how tore up I was about that guy that was in the, in one of the groups that I'm a part of, and he was just picking on every single person. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me he's picking on everyone. Like, this is
yeah,
just stupid. But we've
yeah,
talked
but
about that in, yeah,
yeah, it's not as simple as saying, well, it's very obvious he's a butthead, right? Uh,
he'll be
because
quiet.
because we're still reacting inside, which lets you know it has nothing to do with intellect. It has everything to do with emotional, the way we think, the way we process, the way we take things in. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're shifting out of space where you don't have time, and that opens up bandwidth to focus on where you want to go. Now,
Mhm.
there's another reason why vulnerability is so important,
All
right?
right.
That you didn't mention. Everybody, listen to this. Okay, we need to learn to be vulnerable in ourselves and learn how to be not afraid of our vulnerability to the world, because once we do that, we drop a lot of fears and we're able to read our customer a whole
Yeah.
lot better.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and able to know the customer. When we know our own emotions, then we can know our customer's emotions.
That is very true. That is very true. Um, what else do you have on that list?
Um,
And
let's see. Well, talk a little bit about the money mindset thing, because I want to rehash it because it's so important.
yeah. Um, okay. I'm having a brain blip at the moment. Refresh my
Okay.
memory what exactly, like, just like some segments that we talked about. I'm trying to remember
Okay.
that session in my brain.
So the number one thing with money mindset, there's when I first brought that up some sessions ago, and then said wealth mindset, and so I like that better, right? And what that is a wealth mindset or abundance mindset is what we strive to achieve as business owners, right? And we need to
Mm.
acknowledge all people who are successful and be happy for them, right?
Yes.
Then and
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
whatever wealth and money has brought them what they have, we need to be grateful for that.
Yes.
So if we're whining about someone driving around a Ferrari, because 30 something solving their ego problem, that's our problem, right? We don't
Yeah.
know we don't know what the story is, right? That's our inner works. But the money mindset, so many people are uncomfortable with the thought of talking about money, right? And being worth money, right? We are building a
Yeah.
business, and a business is not a business unless you're turning a profit and making money, right? And
Yep.
a profit pays other people and it pays you, puts money in your own pocket.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
very
isn't that what
different
we're here
than
for?
yeah, yeah. And I mean, think about it. When a lot of people, just society in general, I've been taught that way too. I had to undo that, and it took a long time. The money is bad, money's evil, right? Money. I don't want to be rich. I'll turn into a bad person. It'll make me look greedy, what have
Mm.
you. And money is a good thing. It makes the world go round. If you can
It does.
it does. When we have money and it can flow, we are contributing to the economic cycle of the world, right? So when someone's buying a router bit, right? They're paying me. I'm making a little bit of a profit. I go to my tooling company. I buy more router bits. Now I'm employing people, right? Which works it
Yep.
down the chain, right? We got to look at it in the right perspective, and everybody's entitled to the piece. And there's a stupid amount of money on the planet. It's ridiculous how much money is out there.
Oh
But
yeah.
ultimately, why we talked about it is because so many people are uncomfortable. And the way we can tell if we do not have, if we're uncomfortable with money, is if we don't have a lot. The results of our life today is is a reflection of how we have thought up till now. What we are inside creates itself on the outside. The
Yes.
world doesn't create us, we create the world that we have.
Yes. And it's your, it's kind of like your best foot forward, but in a financial sense. You
It
just,
is. But we have to have a money mindset in order to price our stuff right, in order
Mhm.
to put ourselves in front of the customers that are going to be willing to pay, right? The
Yeah.
ones that instead of the Walmart or the Dollar General class, the that are going to bicker with you and be unhappy with anything you do, right? We
Yeah.
want to go to people who are willing to pay $500, $1,000 for a cutting board, and believe
Yeah.
me, they do that.
Yep. Well, it was so funny because when I was telling you, you and I did like a quick video. I don't think we've posted it yet. About I was doing a 3D carve and I was having some issues, and I was talking to you about pricing this particular project. And it's this really beautiful piece of like 2-inch cherry wood. It's got these beautiful florals and hummingbirds that I'm making for one of my family members. And we were talking about the cherry wood and the 3D carving and the time. It was going to be like 9 hours or something crazy in the carve. And you were like, I said, well, if you were just to price this project to put it out there, what would you charge? And you said $1,000, $1,200. And I was just like, holy crap, but it's an 18 by 24. It's a big piece. It's solid wood. If I were like, zhuzh it up a little bit with some paint or whatever else, it kind of blew me away. But then Richard came here to see me here in my shop, and we got to spend the day together. And I was telling him about this project, and I said, just like take a wild guess what you think this project would be. And he had no idea that you and I had had that conversation. And he said, $1,000, $1,200. And I was like, yep. So I know that he was in that right money mindset and thinking that. And even me, who's come from an investment world background, it's hard to get in that right mindset that just because we're creating it doesn't mean it's worthless, because as a creator, we see all of the flaws in it. And that's really hard for us because we're like, oh, it's chipped on the edge, or it's not perfect here, or it carved too deep here. And so we're like, oh, well, I'll knock off, $100 for that, or I'll knock off $50 for that. And then before you know it, you're basically giving the dang thing away. It's like, stop doing that. Just stop being a perfectionist. And so many creators aren't. It's hard for us to get in that space of charging what it's worth and giving ourselves that self-worth aspect the right dollar amount, and putting on there what someone should pay for it. I mean, people don't go to Prada and like, say, can I pay $50 for this pair of $1,500 heels? No, you walk in and you pay the damn $1,500 and you move on. Like, you're not going to go in and haggle with them.
Right,
So
right. And one thing the other thing is that kind of price tag on a project. Uh, when you're thinking, how can I charge $1,000 for this?
yeah,
What you're doing is you're finding the right customer that's willing to pay that kind of money. The,
yes,
there are people that are cheap, and there are people that will not buy cheap. There are people that will not buy sale items unless it's Chanel, right? That sells $10,000 handbags.
yep,
Okay, so let's kind of pop into some of the
I saw some comments kind of
comments.
sneaking in there.
Yeah, yeah, they've been kind of flying through.
All right, let's see. How about
Give me a timestamp. Some of you guys are talking to each other. Excellent.
yeah?
Um,
I saw Richard popped on there. Hi, Richard. How are you this evening?
People forget the low of choice we choose or resources, whether we like it or not.
I think at
I'm not sure.
8:24. Chris Gallagher brought up a good point. He says, I don't waste a good stress about anything I can't affect. Oof, so true.
So how do you interpret that?
He's not going to give any of those ugly comments any acknowledgement. He's not going to give good stress, like worthy things to be stressed about. He's not going to give those comments good
Yes.
any type of
Yeah.
his good stress.
Yeah. Wade. Hi, Wade. By the way, I struggle every day to get it right. I get up tomorrow and do it better than yesterday, and some days are worse. Right? We come in and we just want to stay in bed and just not even go with the day, and sometimes the day falls apart. In business, our job is to work through it, and the more you work through that, the better you'll do. Right?
Yeah,
Business is all about changing the mindset.
it really is. It really
Um,
is.
yeah,
And you do. You just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
yeah. Tammy here. Hi, Tammy. Um, those critical of us can be utilized by helping us go gain inner strength and resolve to move forward in spite of. I'm still working on my eyes, so naysayers views. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the biggest thing is when we get our buttons pushed by people, um, instead we can react, but it's our job to learn to change our behavior, get through the reaction, and say, why did I get so pissed off? What is it about me that was affected by that? What is it
Yeah.
about me that allowed me to get in that space? So
Mhm.
what else? Why you mentioned about Avatar, and it's a very important thing uh, for CNC business. But before we move on, let's kind of reintroduce what's going on here. For those who have jumped in and have not experienced this is a live mentoring session that we have been doing for 10 episodes now
Yep.
with Kate Tucker, CNC sister, who has been who is struggling with business and what direction she wants to go in, and kind of went all over the place, which is what many people do when they're going into business because they simply don't know what they don't know.
Yep.
And if we find ourselves struggling, if you find yourself struggling, you've got to go find the help because there's something you're not understanding, and it's up here. There's something you're just not able to interpret in business, or as we've been talking all night, it's about mindset. Right. We
Yeah.
have to learn how to change our mindset. We have to learn how to see the world from a business perspective rather than a consumer perspective. Coming out of an employee as an employee, for those who are retiring and want to start their own business, or any reason you want to start a business,
Yep.
and you're used to drawing a paycheck, it's a very cut and dry world. I work a week, I get a paycheck. Work a week, get a paycheck. And I work this much time, right? In business, we are responsible for the paycheck, right? So we are responsible for the results that can write that paycheck, and we have to own up to that responsibility.
Yeah.
We don't, we don't go very far.
No. That's when you say, "Oh, I have a business." No, you have a hobby. If you
Yeah,
can't write yourself a paycheck, you've got
yeah,
yourself a hobby.
yep. Chris said it well. Money is a measure. Money is a result of uh, of of something. If you take money and look at it as money is a tool, really.
Yeah.
It's a tool, but it's a result. It's the result of an exchange in value. As CNC business owners, our job is we're creating value for other people, and in
Mhm.
exchange for that value, they're giving us money, right? And so that's why our own sense of value has to go up. I'm doing a lot of talking, Kate. I want you to talk some.
No,
What?
you're fine.
Yeah. What else? Why was the avatar work so important? Again, before we get into that,
Yeah.
um, an avatar is your ideal customer. As we get into business, we want to be in a niche. We have our zone, right? If you're making
Yes.
projects, all kinds of projects, and they don't have any rhyme or reason to the projects, like Kate, you were making flags, you were making dancers, you're making other things, you're doing this and
Everything.
that, and all over the place. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so we need to zone into our niche,
Yeah.
and then we need to zone into our avatar. And so, why do we need to know the avatar? Why was the avatar work so important?
Well, the avatar is important because if you have a niche, that's great. But without the avatar, how are you going to find your niche? It's kind of like, so I'll give the very primary example of I was making fire dancers for a Dave Matthews um, girl that found me on Instagram or whatever, and she said, "Can you make this?" I said, "Sure, I'll give it a go." I tried it out. I made them like 3.5 foot. I made them like 5 foot, and they were really good sellers. And I probably could still be making those suckers if I had stuck with the niche. But I was like, I don't really enjoy this scope of thing. And I don't know. I just was like, my avatar could have been Dave Matthews Band people. Because that's who it was, a very specific niche. They love all things fire dancers. And now if I see a car decal on the back of a car driving down the road, I know exactly what it is. And I know I could probably sell them a fire dancer if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. But those avatars are diehard Dave Matthews band fans. They will buy anything and everything with a fire dancer. So that very particular avatar is the fan, and my niche for them would have been anything fire dancer related. But for me, I wanted to help women and men in the CNC space, whether it's teaching or teaching them how to do like an actual physical project was a little harder to unpack. So Garrett said, "Who do you want to try and focus on?" And I'm like, really, I want to help women. I want to help both men and women. But if you're going to make me pick, and he said, yes, you have to pick. You have to pick an avatar. You can't have 5 different avatars. You have to have one. So I said, okay, well, I want to help women who CNC because I'm seeing so many more women come into this space and buying CNCs, but then leaving them sitting in the box on their garage floor, and they've put all this money and all this time and effort into it. And then I had to personally unpack, why would they leave it in the garage? What is within them that is making them leave it in the box or to take it out of the box? So we really had to unpack all of the inner workings and the psyche of my avatar. If it was really simple, like the Dave Matthews Band, I wouldn't have had near as many questions, but that's not what it was. And the avatar I learned in the process was me. It was me. It was a mom. It was a wife. I had kind of lost my identity, um, just giving so much over the years. And then trying to figure out what I wanted. I knew I wanted a business. I wanted a business. I wanted to pivot my business from just a sign making business because I was bored to tears and the market was way oversaturated. And now I feel like I have a purpose. I feel like people can reach out to me. I'm getting my name out there, and I'm seeing my avatar come to me, which I have a great respect for. And I'm very humbled and honored that they would want to come to me and learn from me because they see that I was vulnerable and that they're in that exact same space of not knowing anything about CNC. And I've only been in it a year and a half, but I've been in it long enough to know that there's more to it than just the physical machine. It's so much right here. And that's where that's where it all comes together.
And that helps you identify your niche.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you identify your path, because there's things that you have passions inside of that, and you have
Yes.
empathy for what they're experiencing, because you've experienced it, and you're
Yes.
now working through the process.
And trying to
It's like,
find the time and trying to find that niche. But if I hadn't unpacked, that's what I want you guys to understand. If I hadn't unpacked all that crap about myself, I wouldn't have learned about my avatar, and then I wouldn't have learned that I want my niche to be helping women. And yes, I want to help men too, but primarily I really wanted to help women grow and learn that this, yes, is primarily a men's world dominated with the CNC machine, but there is space for women in here too. But we just learn in a different way, and that's okay. Everybody learns differently. And I
mhm.
love that I love the opportunity to teach in general. So I think it's really helped me identify what I want to do instead of making flags, making clocks, making fire dancers, making signs, making 3D this. Ugh. You know what I mean? Now I feel like I have a general sense of purpose, and now I can take my business that Garrett and I have been talking about and finally launch. I feel like I'm on the runway, folks. We have arrived on the runway. We are
Good way
in
to
the
put it.
plane. We are ready to take off. So we're not just like wandering out in the field anymore. We have landed on the runway. So,
All right, very cool. I wanted to step back as I saw a comment from Gary, and it was about
oh,
starting. It can be hard to not undervalue yourself, right?
mhm.
So this is stepping off the avatar thing, but
Yeah, no,
he's right.
that's
It's
totally
it's
fine.
hard because we think a certain way, right? We're not used to saying I am worth having a good, solid business. So the avatar
Yeah,
thing is vital, because that'll help you narrow into your niche. It'll help you understand your customer, and
yeah,
it will help you identify the niche and what that customer is willing to pay for, and what that customer values more, right?
right.
People pay you when they perceive that the items that you create have have a certain value to them, and they will pay you at the level of value that they see in themselves emotionally, right?
Yes,
And that's a measure of their money mindset. It's a measure of of how important, if they're getting it for a gift.
yes.
Um, I lost track of that last thing I was going to say.
No, you're fine. So
Yeah.
I will kind of touch on that a little bit. So I did this beautiful sign. I finally gave it to the couple on Sunday, and it was a beautiful 2-inch solid walnut. It had a 3D carving of a cardinal on both sides. It was, in a dish, and then the cardinal was raised up out of it. It was beautiful, and it was all, hand painted and detailed to look like the picture that he gave me, and it had their last name engraved in it. It said "Welcome to God's country," and it was so beautiful. And the interior was painted like he wanted, but it was so significant to the husband, because the cardinal was a representation of his mother-in-law that had recently passed away of cancer, and so he wanted to get this very special gift for his wife. But even more so, it was really sentimental because a tornado had torn through their property a couple years ago, and he called me out and he said, "Hey, do you want all of these walnut logs?" And I said, "Sure, we'll come and get them. We'll pick them up." There were like 10 humongous walnut logs. Well, the wife said, "I would really love to have a sign made." Well, of course, walnut logs, you have to have them dried, or they have to naturally dry out, blah, blah, blah. And when he came to pick up, or when he came to look at the sign, he was just almost in tears. He was like, what do I owe you for this? Like, it is so beautiful. It is just absolutely stunning. And his wife, when I gave it to her, she was just like crying her eyes out because she could not believe this gift. And she was like, oh my gosh, I really hope he paid you what it was worth. And, you know, they're good friends. We go to church together, and he gave me all this wood for free. And I was like, absolutely not. Nope. Nope. It's just my gift to you. But if I could have put a price tag on that sucker and sold that to someone else, you betcha it would have been worth a pretty penny.
Right. And the idea
So,
that she said, I hope he paid you what that was worth because it had such a high emotional value to them. This is what you want to, this is why you want to do avatar work and know what the avatar is wanting, right? Know what your
mhm,
customers want and what's going to move them that deeply. Um,
yes.
let's
That's why
see
I've
who
kind of
else is good.
broken
Go
away
ahead.
from some of those smaller projects and really working on the more high-end projects, because people will pay for them if they have that emotional sentiment with them. So,
Yep. And if you go find those customers.
yeah.
Right, you got the other part of your avatar work is by doing that work, you start to understand where they're hanging out at. Because if
Mhm.
you're making something and you're putting it on Etsy and your avatar isn't your customer, ideal customer isn't hanging on Etsy, you're going to do terrible. Right. So
Yeah.
you have to understand where they're hanging out at. Now, I know that
Yep.
mine hangs out on YouTube and on Facebook. So I
All
don't
the
worry about
others.
Instagram. I don't worry about TikTok. Once in a while, I might post, but it's nothing that's going to grow my business in the way
Yeah.
that resonates with my avatar's needs.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, gosh, I mean, we talked about that too. I mean, how many platforms did I have that one time? It was like 9 different platforms I was trying to juggle, and I was just like spinning in circles, like Pinterest, Snapchat, Facebook, Facebook business, Instagram, Instagram business. It was just like, God, this is obnoxious. What am I doing?
Yep, and isn't that what we do? The reason that she was doing this, and it's the reason why most of us do this. And by the way, I just want to say hello to a couple of people. I see some new names. Joe is
Yeah.
in here. Jeff. Joe is saying thank you, Kate, for the help the other day. Um,
Oh, sure.
and yeah, Cody's
Yeah.
on board. What's going on there, Cody? Hope that machine is running awesome. Seeing your videos, you got that machine that makes router bits. I can't wait to
Yeah, I
get
saw that. I
that.
was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Okay. So this is mentoring that I've been doing with our sister Kate, and it's the 10th episode. It is the last mentoring episode, and I said that just before. But what I want to do is, ladies who watch this or who is watching this now or the recording, join Women Who CNC. It's a Facebook group that Kate started, Women Who CNC, and
Yep.
it's for women only, right?
Yep.
Because
Women
she
only.
saw that the women have to, and they just have to have their own space to learn this in.
Yeah.
And so also I got two new router bits coming out. I'll be releasing them. One of them will be released in a few days. The 3/16 compression bit, and then the beast, the badder ass than the hog, right?
Yeah.
But
It's a cool bit.
uh, yeah, CNC
Is it
insiders love this.
the is it the standard length, or is it longer?
It's so the hog is a little bit long,
Yep.
right? It's meant to be able to get in deeper, and so this one's a bit shorter. I designed the core a little bit stockier.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it's got shorter flute. So
Nice.
that's this thing's yeah. I mean,
It'll just be able to run.
oh, I couldn't. I was running 600 inches per minute on this machine, full depth of a piece of plywood, 3/4 of an inch at 100% step over. They're ripping that wood out of there, and I wanted to get up to 800, but I never took it to that speed, but I will. But CNC Insiders will have first dibs on these things. So
Nice.
CNC Insiders is my email list, and if you want to find it, you can search Google for CNC Insiders. You will see it, and
Yeah.
sign up because there is limited since it's first release, I don't have a lot of stock. I never overstock on first release. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Smart.
yeah, what else do we have? Kate will help you with one-on-ones, right?
Yep.
You can hire her for a half hour, for an hour. You can email her and she will do it. One-on-ones with Vectric software, right?
Yep.
But I won't let her do it for free, right? We don't. This is part of setting our own value, right? We have a worth, we have a skill, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so your job as a CNC creator is to take that skill that you're learning and realize that's a value to other people, right?
Yes.
And you have to be willing to accept
Yeah.
payment for it. And the reason I encourage you to hire Kate for a one-on-one is because you will go miles further in 1 hour than you
Oh
will try to
gosh,
do it on
yes.
your own.
And
Miles.
I really do take a lot of pride in those one-on-one sessions because I know what it's like to pay someone. I think I did some sessions with you, and I think by the time I started, or I don't know, I think it was around $100 or $125 an hour. I mean, gosh, this was like a year ago when I was doing the one-on-ones with you, and I was flabbergasted at the amount of information that I took away just because I had some like real world questions about the CNC that I could not Google. I could not YouTube. I was like, why is the machine doing this? And you were like, oh, just go over here and do this, this, and this. And I was like, that's it? You were like, yep, that's it. I was like, well, that's okay. Now I don't have to go spend 6 hours figuring that crap out. But
All right.
I really, yes, I do take those sessions very seriously. So we'll do a little bit of emailing back and forth. And I really feel like it's important to get a good like list going on in advance, so then that way I can figure out what exactly you want to work with and be prepared with that material. And then if there's any additional questions or we have time for whatever, then we can talk whatever else you may have questions about. But I do want to make sure that you get the most out of that.
Right. Right. That's the other thing about business, right? The business is about giving value. We
Yeah.
we don't want to be takers. We don't want to be greedy about money, right? We have to have a worth money mindset, but
Yes.
we have to be givers in order to receive, right? So you always want to add value. Also, this is the last live mentoring session, but because of the direction Kate's going in, it's not it, it's just not going to be appropriate for CNC here. Um,
Yeah.
but we
You
will
guys probably
continue
find
to
it
do.
boring.
Yeah, but we will continue this on Wednesdays to help you with your CNC related questions. That will be fun. And so if you're starting to email um, us, we get tons of emails. You wouldn't believe how many emails I get in a day. And
Mhm.
so we will start directing those questions back to the Wednesday nights and
Yes.
come on the live.
Yes. I think that'll be a lot of fun too.
Yeah. And I've talked about it for some time about doing mentoring with other people, all right, business mentoring. As you
Yeah.
see, this has been going on with Kate for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
But I value my time too. Mentoring gets paid for because
Yes.
people don't value free,
Nope. They just
right?
take advantage of it.
When skin is in the game, then they start to listen. Okay, let's
Yeah.
see a couple comments here. Um, see anything you want to talk to? I can see a really long one here. I'm going to pop it up just because it's too long to read there, and I don't want to spend. I'm working on unpacking what's getting okay in the way of taking off. This from Facebook user.
Okay.
I'm learning my fear. Look at that. It's burying our faces. Learning my fear behind success and failure. I've been set at my shop for almost a year, and I have yet to cut my first project. Oh, this is self-sabotage. I've made leaps and bounds in the past week mentally. Yay, Kate, you have inspired me to find my avatar and niche. Yay, I'm jumping for joy. You can see my head dancing.
Yay!
I figured out my avatar is me too. Yes, Garrett, your videos and downloads have taken the fear out of leading. Thank you both. Okay, but I am going to speak to the first half of this. Right, so this is a great that was a great post. Thank you, whoever you are. I think
Yes.
you in Facebook you have to click to allow the StreamYard, which is the service that I'm using to see who you are, but you can stay anonymous. So
That's
why
okay.
don't we move forward? Why don't we move forward? That first part of that, because we self-sabotage, right?
Mhm.
In business, we jump what we ready, fire, aim, right?
Yes.
We get ready. We don't know all the answers, but we know enough to do something, and we just get out there and learn. We learn as we move, right?
Yeah.
And
You have got to
when
do it.
yep, and the fear of failure is what keeps you from moving, right?
Mhm.
And that fear of
Yeah.
failure reflects back to self-worth, self-image, and self-confidence, right? So as we bring these things up, our self-worth, our self-image,
Yeah.
self-confidence, and self-esteem.
Yeah. I was looking, yeah, sorry. I was looking at my notes and trying to remember all of the things. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, my brain
yeah.
went.
So that's okay. That's self-sabotage. And it's only because we're afraid of failure. In that case, it was not
Yeah.
afraid a fear of success. That was a fear of failure. This is why we do all this inner work, because we can read right into those words and we can see because we understand it in ourselves, in our own feelings, in our heart, in our spirit. We've gone through it. Now we can read the words and know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But the Facebook user has been hanging in there and really taking this seriously and saying, okay, this is Kate, you're taking the leap, you're trying,
Yeah.
and that has inspired them to say, okay, if
Well, I
she
am
can do it,
very
then
glad.
I can.
What's that?
If she, they just basically said, if you can do it, they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. I wholeheartedly believe that anyone can do this. You just have to have that right mindset. You have to want it for yourself. That is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, is to believe in yourself and to do it for yourself. Um, sorry, my husband's in the room. Um, but oh my goodness, it's such a tough spot to get out of when you don't believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to dream. You have to believe. You have to tell yourself, yes, I am worthy of taking, an hour or two a day to myself to learn the Vectric software, to invest in myself. And that's exactly what I told myself over and over and over when I was making the investment on courses and the time. That stuff is an reinvestment in yourself. And if you don't invest in yourself, then who's going to? And that's what I kept telling myself is I have I am raising 4 kids. I am a wife, I am a mom, but I am also more than all of those just titles. I am also a business owner. I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough to want to do this for myself. And that's where you have to get in your mind. You can't just have a pity party. It's okay to, like my mom used to tell me, it's okay to cry, but you can't just unpack and camp there and stay there forever. Like, it's okay to break down and cry and have a moment, but get yourself together, pick up yourself, and keep moving forward. I mean, that's just the hard, cold facts of life. Like, life is hard. Life is so freaking hard. Business is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. Running a business, stupid hard. Writing yourself a paycheck, that's hard because we want to reinvest. We want to do all of the right things. But my God, it's hard, but you're going to have to do it. That is, yeah, that's it.
And stepping through that, we have comfort zones, and stepping through that comfort zone of fear, right, to get to the
Yes.
uncomfortable. It's the only way we grow, and that's the way we start to gain confidence and
Yes.
start learning the next step. Um, Someone asked, Facebook user asked, how do they set up a one-on-one with you?
So
Well,
so if you shoot me an email, I'm working on getting it integrated over into my website with my website designer right now, because it's a little bit tricky because of the different time sessions and calendaring. So we're working on that in the background. But you can go send me an email. I'll make sure Garrett posts it in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description of this video. But you can shoot me an email directly at Rise and Shine DIY wood signs.com. I know it's lengthy. Just shoot me an email and then I will get back with you. Or if you don't remember the email, you can go to my website, Rise and Shine Wood Signs, and then just go into the contact info and shoot me an email there, and then I will get back with you. Sorry,
all right.
it's long.
Yep. Rise and Shine Wood Signs. That's what you'll
Okay.
look up.
Yes.
Let's see what else we got. Okay, so it's a little bit different. I'm working on plans to build an Adirondack chair. Trellis, I've been watching your work for years. So I have a question below. So we're not generally talking about this stuff, but that's okay. My question is for cutting out parts and CNC for the Adirondack chairs. What's the thickest board that can be cut using the CNC? Well, it depends on the machine that you have, right?
Yeah,
Like the
this is a
Phantom
great
here, this
question
machine.
for next Wednesday.
Yeah, that is a good question for next Wednesday. And
Yeah.
I am actually going to be doing a video cutting out an Adirondack chair, just so you know.
I can't wait to
I'm going
stalk
to,
that video.
yeah, that's going to be on the long mill. I'm going to do it on the long mill, and I'm going to do another one on the Phantom.
Yeah, I think that'll be really fun. I actually had been telling you, I don't know, it was kind of weird. We were talking about it one day and I was like, I want to build some of those chairs and put them like around my fire pit in my yard. And you were like, I already have plans to build one. I'm like, good, send me the plans because I want to make one too.
Right.
So I saw a comment. I kind of had my screen paused for a second. It said 837. It said, this
Oh, you're
stuff
going
has
way back.
showed me self-worth. I love that. Love that. 837. It's a Facebook user.
Okay.
Just knowing that we help someone with their self-worth is worth diamonds to me.
Yeah.
So, and then Spunky Bear had a quick comment to me. Kate, do I teach any classes on sign making? No, I do not currently teach classes on sign making. It is something I will be including in my new business model. So
Right.
we can
And
chat more about that.
Yep. And that is data, right?
That is data.
So that's data. Someone has asked something. So, and that will, that excellent. And you picked right up on it. Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got another long one from Jen. Hi,
Oh,
Jen.
I love Jen.
Yeah. Do you know Jen? I don't know Jen. I haven't seen you before.
Yeah, she's in my Women Who CNC group. She's a very active user and very knowledgeable. So,
Excellent.
yes.
Yeah. Another big block is the need for perfection. Absolutely. That's another form of sabotage. One of the best things she read when she was starting her Etsy shop years ago was just focus on making your first item good enough. You don't have to be perfect, just good enough, and then keep working on improving. Right. So get a bit better each time, but don't let the need for perfection. So the perfection is self-sabotage as well. It's just another smoke screen that we put over ourselves to say, that we're not good enough. We don't feel good enough. We have to acknowledge our sense of worth and the areas that we lack sense of worth.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing to do, is to say, oh God, I just don't feel so good about myself in this way.
And Jen, it's a normal thing to be a perfectionist. It, gosh, it really is. It's hard. Like I said earlier, it's just hard being a creator. Because we're always wanting to pick apart our projects and say, oh, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. And, as I was mentioning that sign earlier with the two beautiful cardinals and the whole project, and he came into the shop and I was like, I am so sorry. I said this side, it carved a little more shallow over here and it just carved a little bit deeper over here. And he goes, stop. This was from my customer. He goes, stop. It is beautiful. If you hadn't pointed that out, I would have never noticed that. Case in
Exactly.
point.
Yep. And
Case
to
in
to
point.
that point. So when we're making something, we're looking at the carve and the process, and what have you. What they're looking at, we're looking at the details, but they're seeing the whole thing.
Yes.
Right? They're seeing the entire image. Like someone had made this and sent it to me.
Holy smokes, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And I could sit there and look at it and go, I'm going, wow, this says IDC on the flag, and they made it for
Yeah.
me. And here's another one. This got in the mail.
You always
Okay.
get the coolest stuff.
Right. And this one is it's got the
Incredible.
company, it's got the company values that all the team members at IDC Woodcraft have to embrace when they deal with the public. Right?
Yes.
Right. So you encourage, validate, and celebrate. Right. But
Love it.
they worded it in a way that I never could have worded it. Right. So this came from
Yeah.
Bob, man. It's so amazing. Here's another one. Okay. So this is what giving value is. I got this pen.
Oh,
Now,
yes.
somebody made. Look at the image.
I see you.
That's me.
Oh, I see
And
Nikolai.
and there's my new grandson, Nikolai. Right.
I love
So,
it. Gosh,
and you
that's
think
so
I'm
cool.
sitting, yeah, but you think I'm sitting there going, oh man, there's a little scratch right up there, right? I'm looking at this. This is meaningful, right? So this is what you want to do with your customers, right? You want to find that meaningfulness.
Yeah.
What would you like to share, Kate? What else would you like to share with our brothers and sisters who are looking at this business stuff? What they need? What moved you enough? I don't know. What's just on your heart to share right now?
Oh gosh, I feel like I already kind of went off on a little bit of soapbox earlier about just doing. You just got to do it for yourself, and you really just have to. You have to believe in yourself, number one, because if you're not believing in yourself, don't be looking around the room for anybody else. You've got to pull that from within, because if you don't believe in yourself, there is really no point in doing all of the foundational work that I had to do. Because if I didn't want this, I would have walked away from this a really long time ago. Shoot, the avatar session, I was almost in dang tears about. And it really screwed me up for like 3 or 4 days afterwards, because I had to stop and think about every single thing that I was doing and why I wanted this so bad. The picking a niche. How did I go from making flags, making like wild animals with epoxy and cutting boards with epoxy, to clocks, to engraved cutting boards, to teaching? How did we get here? I mean, honestly, how did we get here? And if you don't if you don't want that for yourself, then I really encourage you um, to take a deep dive, write down some goals, get a book, get a notebook that is just for you, and write down what you want for yourself. Whether it's a business or not, whether maybe you just want to start your CNC because it's something you want to do in your free time and you just want to make, cool toys for your grandkids, or, you want to make unique signs for your home, whatever it is. I kind of got on this random path of making things because I had a CNC and I'm a huge Pinterest junkie. So I was like, oh, I can make that. Oh, I can try and make that. Oh, wait, just pin all these things and then figure it out. Um, but if I could go back and do it again, I would say I would have picked a few things and made those. But I will say probably 85% of the things I made in my first 6 to 8 months, I gave away as gifts. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not perfect, but I really thought of you, and it was a custom personalized gift, and people loved it. Um, and really just be yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not. Don't try to be, this really uptight business person when that's not who you are. Obviously, if you've watched all 10 of these episodes, or you've, maybe watched the majority of the episodes with me, the one thing you will notice is that Garrett is very authentic. I'm authentic. You are seeing raw live footage. There's nothing edited about any of these videos. So you just kind of have to embrace yourself and give yourself enough grace to just be you, take the time, find your path, and do what makes you happy. That's why we're like 90% of us are in this space, is because you're retired, or, whether you're a man or woman, or you're, a young mom trying to make a business, make a side hustle, do something, whatever it is, you know, just do what makes you happy, because life is freaking short.
Yeah.
It
Woo,
really is.
baby, that was a speech. Yay.
Soapbox number 2.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I got,
But
folks. That's all I got for
that's
tonight.
that's the journey you went through to pull you to that. Right? Is
Yeah.
okay. Now you've jumped over a big over these 10 weeks. It's taken a while because it's rocky, right?
Yeah.
We want it to be a nice, easy uphill ride. Sorry. Sorry about your luck. Ain't gonna happen.
Well, and I
Stephanie,
know we have so many
yes.
new people on here and they haven't seen, maybe they're just catching this one and they haven't caught the other 9 episodes, and they're just kind of jumping on because I know we have some new folks in here, but that's what these episodes have been about. It's just real, raw, figure this shit out as we go, kind of rolling down the road.
Hmm.
10 weeks
Yeah.
of unpacking the stuff.
Absolutely. And guess what? It never stops.
No,
We never stop learning.
no.
I have a mentor. My mentor is 20 years younger than me. And
Isn't
what
that
he
incredible?
says, I do what I try to do what my mentor says. And
Yeah.
he has told me, he said, Garrett, you're a good mentee. Right. Stephanie is the one, the Facebook user, is looking to get hold of you. She has jumped over to YouTube. She said, I don't want to be anonymous. And she wants to jump in with both feet and invest in herself. Right. So
Oh, very
Stephanie's,
cool.
yeah. And
Okay, I
why
like
is
her
that?
disclaimer.
Why is that? Because of what we've talked about. There are pains that we want away from, and there's places we want to get to, right? That purpose, right?
Ye-
And so that's why we do the avatar work too. We want to understand our customers' pains and the desires that they want to get to. What Kate, that long talk that Kate just gave us, right? What she basically said is something that many people don't like to hear. Get selfish for what you want,
Ugh,
right? You got
yeah.
to be selfish for you and your happiness, your ambitions, your goals, because you have the right to. You're a sovereign being. You've got the God-given right to go after what you want to. The
Yeah.
world will try to stomp you down, and it's your job to learn how to grow that set of kahunas and get the people around you that's going to help you grow them, right?
Yep.
And you got to be selfish for your happiness. You got to
Yeah.
be selfish for your happiness, and it's okay. And when you start doing that, you will step into a completely different world of people that are going to embrace you and say, "Let's get you going."
Yep. And you will. And you'll, believe it or not, more people will get on board with supporting you than not.
Yeah, and it actually makes you a better person to the rest of the world, because if you're getting selfish
Yeah.
for your own ambitions, your own happiness, your own drive, what's going to happen is you will be better to the world because you're not feeling like you're shoving yourself down. You're not feeling like I shouldn't be like this, and I shouldn't do the things I actually really want to do in life.
Yeah. Be like, you have to
And
be bold.
I've been having a conversation with someone over the last couple of weeks, and it's been kind of like that, right? It's like just talking to them, saying they've experienced their own fears and what have you in their journey, but they've gotten to a point as well. It's like, this is my life, right? don't
Right.
don't mess with me anymore. I don't want to be in your box. I want to be me. And if you and I get along, then we can work it, right? But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shift. I'll do a little bit of compromise to make it work, but I'm not going to shift from who I am.
Yeah.
All right.
What was the
Well,
I can't remember who said it, but it said it's like uh well-behaved women rarely make history. I can't remember who said that, but it's one of my favorite quotes. I'm like drawing a total mind blank. But yeah, well-behaved women rarely make history, and that's so true.
yeah.
It is.
Yep. There's Raymond says, but it's better to focus on quality rather than perfection. It is better to focus on just doing and getting started if you're stuck, and taking
Yeah.
that dive to get the resources you need, learn how to do it, um, and by all means, yeah, quality, right? But you got to start. At the end of the day, you got to start, and if you're stuck, you got to go find the help to get you unstuck, because we
Yeah.
don't see it, right? We don't
Yeah.
see our own filters.
Mm-mm. Yeah. It is. It's This whole experience has been extremely eye-opening for me. So, it's worth it.
Yeah. So where's this all taking you? At this point, in 10 sessions, so it's be 11 weeks since we really officially just said, okay, we're going to do mentoring and we're going to do it live. The first thing that was is you did it live, right?
Yeah.
So that was a huge step. So that's where I'm going, okay, you're going to get this places that you don't really want to get into.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. It's not easy to unpack all of your emotional baggage, out on the internet, like for everybody and their mother to see. But the one thing that I've realized is everybody's pretty cool. Like, and everybody has the same crap. Like, everybody's dealing with either self image or self esteem or self worthiness or perfection issues, and not thinking that their stuff is good enough or not charging enough. I mean, that is probably one of like the biggest things that I see in all these groups is some people will come for you if you're like, oh, if somebody says, what do you think, what would you charge for this? And somebody says, oh, $20 or $40, like people will come for you because that self-worth really, you can tell the people that have been doing it and they're like, you need to be charging more because you're worth more than what you're selling it for is basically what they're trying to say. So, it
Right. Um,
it's just something.
Facebook user, letters to the universe.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Letters to the universe. That's write down what you want, and you put it out to the universe, to God, whatever whatever you feel your higher power is, or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but I will say, write down what you want. Kate said that earlier. Write down your goals. Be ambitious. Anything you want on it, write it down for you.
Yeah.
Write it for you. What do you want?
Exactly. And
Um, yeah,
it was hard. I mean, I'm sure it was hard for you. It was hard for me. And hard, that's why we say it's hard. It's not, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
yeah.
I mean,
And if you
you're
feel
either going to do it
overwhelmed,
or you're not. That's
yeah,
like
yeah. If you feel
90% of the
overwhelmed,
conversation.
that's right. If you feel overwhelmed, it's a good thing.
Oh,
Overwhelm is a good thing. That means you're stretching your mind. If you break down and cry all pissed off, you just hit a milestone. Celebrate afterwards. because you broke a barrier.
yeah. I always have to chuckle a little bit because one of my favorite movies is The Devil Wears Prada with Meryl Streep, and one of her associates in the movie, he says, um, she's Annette or Anne Hathaway's in the movie, and she's complaining to her coworker, and she's like, "My personal life um, is about to be destroyed." And he's like, "Oh, well, when your entire world goes up in flames, then it's time for a promotion." And I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of how it is being an entrepreneur. Like when your whole world just feels like everything's up in flames, then usually that's when you know you're doing really well."
Mhm.
So,
And one other thing is, when you feel like the world is crashing down on you all around you, that is a sign from well, in my world, that's a sign from the universe that it's doing its best to keep you where you're at. Basically, you're ready to break through a comfort zone, and you got to break
yeah,
through that. And once you break through, when everything is hitting you in life, yeah, you've just crossed the next level. That's the hardest time to go, right? But that's when you're breaking that old behavior of yours.
yeah.
Hey,
Well, you and I were
Grant.
kind of having that conversation tonight is, when we were preparing for this, it was like, what are we going to talk about? And, you know, we kind of think about it all week long, but it's like I've been doing all of these things progressively for a while now. And the next thing that I want to do is not really relative in this space. So we'll continue our mentoring, but I'm really excited to take this to the next level with my mentoring, but also with these new Wednesday nights when we get to open up the conversation even more and have all kinds of really cool, fun conversations about different projects and whatever you guys want to talk about.
Mhm.
Um, but the one thing I do want to say is I am seeing a um, kind of a repetitive thread, and it's that we have really inspired some real people. We are affecting real people, and that means, I know it means a ton to you. It means a ton to me as well. Just that we are making this difference out there, and that,
Bottom line, Kate, you are the one that's inspiring them.
oh, I don't know about that. I would
I
say I
do.
think that's a fair shake of both of us.
All right. But you are inspiring them because this goes back to the vulnerability, right? Everybody wants to have these vulnerabilities. Everybody wants to unload this stuff. That we all have our little demons hanging around our back, right?
Mhm.
And and in order to get rid of them, we got to get vulnerable. But we're all afraid of something, and yeah, that those fears can define how tight that box is that you live in. Right. And the world creates it. We're going to 9 to 5. We're living in a box. So we got a 9 to 5, right? You got to follow all the company rules and be politically correct and all that bullshit. Right. It's
It's
and you can't be
exhausting.
creative. Yeah. Yeah. And we get tired of it.
Yeah,
And by you being vulnerable, you are doing something. And I've been through all this, right? I have been through all
you
this. I
have.
couldn't have done
Yes.
this, right? By you being vulnerable, it's actually what we're most afraid of, but what people most admire. Because and why they admire is because they have those fears too. And when you can break through
Yeah.
them, that inspires them.
Well, I'm glad I could help somebody. I know that for sure. I see, oh gosh, it's been a minute ago, but it was back at 9:07, Tim Nudd, um, he made a comment about, he said, "This is exactly where my wife and I are getting started and working on building up our CNC and laser business so that I can come off the road trucking and run our business full time."
Mhm.
That is a very big goal. And I think that is incredibly inspirational that you want to do that and that your wife wants to do that and that you guys want to work together, because when you want to do it together, that's incredible. My husband and I have different jobs and whatever else, but when we get to work together, if there were a TikTok channel that could make fun of husbands and wives and how they work together, I think I would have a pretty hilarious channel. But you know, I love that couples work together and that you guys could run your business full time. There's absolutely the possibility of that.
Yep.
So,
And Tim, it's not going to be easy, brother, right?
no.
Because part of entrepreneur, part of starting a business, especially in your situation, is you have to sacrifice time to learn it and get working when you can, which takes time away from family, wife, what have you.
Yeah.
But there's also a saying in the world: those who work hard have life easy, right? Those who want it easy have life hard, right? And what that means is we have to put in the effort, and it's hard to do it over and over and over and over again when we don't feel like it. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, something clicks. We come across some kind of boundary, and suddenly, right, your income starts to come in, right, and you say, wow, I'm actually starting to do good. I can maybe walk away from this job now. This is Tim, you got to get that money mindset, right? But you
Yep.
got the deeper why, right? The deeper why is, he wants to get off the road, but what do you want to get to, right? We always
Yeah.
want to focus on the thing is, if we're focused on what we want to get out of rather than what we want to get to, then we're in a lack mindset instead of an abundance mindset, right?
Yeah.
I want to get to that, and I'm going to get to that. And that's what you tell yourself every day. All right. So before we wrap up,
Yes.
this is the last mentoring episode that we're going to be doing live. Um, but Wednesday nights, we are going to continue this every Wednesday, but we will handle CNC related stuff, whether it's business, whether it's working with Vectric, whether it's doing something on a machine. And this is this falls very well into where you're going, Kate, in
Yeah.
your business direction. And Kate will do one-on-ones with you for the Vectric work.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to talk. See, I'll have to think about this. See if you're kind of ready to start helping some other people business wise, right?
Oh
Help them with the
boy.
mindset shift, right? But
Nice.
yep, Kate will not do it for free, right? This is we have our worth. Just like you're making projects to sell, you don't do it for free. She doesn't sell her skill or give her skill away for free, right? But doing a one-on-one to learn this stuff will take you miles ahead,
Yes.
and don't forget to sign up CNC Insiders if you want to be first to be notified about the two bits that are going to be released. I think I'll be sending out an email tomorrow that's going to kind of let
The
the
release.
insiders know that when the release is going to come out, right? And then the beast CNC bit. What else have we got? Join women who CNC.
Yep.
Kate,
On
tell the
Facebook.
women who've come on here. Uh, Tell them about
Yep.
it.
So we've got the Facebook group for Women Who CNC. It is exclusively for women. We just have a little bit of a different learning styles. So it's just kind of a safe place for women to ask those questions that they might be embarrassed to ask elsewhere. Because Lord knows I was one of them. So just trying to create a space for those kind of questions that you may not feel comfortable asking out in a group of 20,000 people. So
Right.
come join
Right.
us.
Yep. And also, if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, please hit the like button down below.
Yes.
Um, I see 6 likes so far. So come on, bring them on. There's been a lot of effort, a lot of time put out here. and a lot of
Yeah.
vulnerability on Kate's part. So
Yes.
to wrap this up, well, we got some more comments popping up really fast, but I want to say 2.5 years ago, okay, I told my story. This part of the story for me, I was your commitment to achieving what you want. The level of your commitment will determine how far you get. Right.
Amen.
My commitment was when I walked off my 9 to 5 that I was going to figure out what my calling was and I was going to go after it. All right. But I had no idea what it was. And I was committed to spend every last dime I had, and that included retirement money. And when my business started, I was 2 months from being out of every last dime I had. Right. That's including retirement. That's how committed I was. And in 2.5 years of doing this, IDC Woodcraft has become $1 million company. Right. So your determination is going to um, is
Drive
going
you.
to is going to drive you through the hardest stuff. Kate is going to be reaching those levels at some point, but
Yep.
or close to it. I'm not quite sure exactly yet, but I know that you're going to reach a relatively good level where you're going to say, okay, now we got this shit happening.
Yep. Like I said, we're on the runway, baby. We're going to do this.
Yeah. Yep. Want to handle any
So,
other comments before we pop off?
let's see.
Oh boy, Stephanie said something that we have talked about on the side.
The fear of responsibility. It really just comes to not being good enough to handle success. Yes, girl. Oh my
Along
goodness.
with success comes responsibility, and we have a bigger
Yeah.
responsibility to those that we serve.
Yep.
Right. So the
It's
fear.
a tall order. It really is. But girl, you hit that right on the head.
Yes, she did.
Uh, let's see. And I will ask if any of you are so willing. I also have a YouTube channel. It's Rise and Shine Wood Signs. I would appreciate if you are finding any type of value in this. I also do have other CNC and sign making tips on my YouTube channel. That's also going to be a focus coming up where I will be uploading more and more videos on cool CNC tips and short little things about sign making. So if you guys would go over there and hit that like button or even subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. So I was going to
Subscribe to
say,
IDC Woodcraft too.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Go sign up for Garrett's channel.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I want to handle this one real quick,
Yeah,
Chris.
no, go
I've
for
had
it.
some crazy bad luck over the last 3 years. So sometimes we can fall into that thing of why is this always happening to me? I don't know if you're feeling like that or just life stuff has been happening, but it was really important in our minds to say, wait a minute, I don't have bad luck anymore. I don't have bad luck. It's just stuff that happens in life.
Yep.
It's like me. I don't see a bad economy. This is the best year I'm ever going to have so far. Right. Um, so what were you going to point out?
Oh, I was going to point out Tammy at 932, right above Chris. I love what she says here. You both have made it okay to be publicly vulnerable and so brave with your authentic selves. Thank you so much. Life-altering influence you both have made. Thank you, Tammy. I know you've been on here for several of our sessions, so I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I would love to see more of your projects that you're making and doing, and I know you got this. You are killing it with your mindset. I've even seen a big shift in you. So keep it up, girl. We got this.
All right, cool, cool. Anyone else? There's been
Uh,
other people here, and I'm sorry that we have not gotten all the comments or said hi to everybody that has been popped on.
oh,
Um,
good. Um, I see Dwayne at 936. Thanks, Shaw. This has been amazing at getting at letting me know what it really takes to get where I want to go. Thank you both for your help and vulnerability. Awesome. I love that. He's killing it.
yep. And remember, business takes time. We have to be patient, and that's the hardest thing is to be patient.
Yeah.
persistent but patient.
Rome was not built overnight. So,
but we got to take that. Those are just words. Now, if you can feel those words inside in your heart, right?
oh yeah.
Right. Which is why we do all this work.
Mm-hmm.
This is what makes it more worth it for you to keep going and get to where you want to
Yeah.
go.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. So there's several other thank yous. Thank you all for being
Yeah.
here. And
I like Tim Nund at 9:38. I think one of the almost the last comments. I think is a great one to sign off on. Thank you both for everything. Because of this channel and especially this mentorship series has ignited the spark in me to get the ball rolling and follow my dreams of having my own CNC business. Yay!
yeah.
That's
And
incredible.
ultimately, that was the whole intention of doing this publicly, because at the end of the day, we feel good when we are helping others and we see that shift in them. We see things like this. This is like, yeah, this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
All right,
Awesome.
Kate, I am going to say
Longest
bye.
session
You
yet.
did your dues. We will see you all next week in general CNC anything kind of questions.
Bring them. We'll see y'all next week.
Hasta la vista.